Yeah.
Do you have a business card now?
Yeah. The
Okay.
badge number is 148, and I'm on a call right now, so I don't want to deal with you speaking to me. If you want to call my sergeant, go ahead and call him.
Okay. Why don't you just have him respond here
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, I'll do that.
then? Okay. Are you leaving or?
In this encounter, after trying to speak with Officer Jacobs to resolve the matter right away, I decided it was important to file a formal complaint. While it does seem to be addressed in Subdivision 2 of Minnesota Statute 169.03, some could specifically misinterpret the law to only be addressing stop signs or controlled intersections. I have also reviewed the Burnsville Police Department policies that are available online, and I did not see any policy that dictates officers must identify themselves and in what manner they need to do so, nor did the policy touch on emergency lighting and speeding. The following is the interaction that I had with Sergeant Murray, where we discussed the situation. I have left it unedited.
Hello. Do you have a supervisor on duty? Yes. Thank you.
I was just making sure this, we're on the same page. So wait, we're receiving 2 children? Yes. From this apartment. Is it just the child's father?
Okay. And do you guys have a complaint form up front here?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is he usually with you? Is he argumentative or, what is his usual?
Perfect. Thank you.
No, I don't think I'll go there.
Hello. How are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm okay.
What's your name, sir?
I go by Rowdy.
Rowdy? Hi, Rowdy.
Yep.
I'm Brent.
Nice to meet you, Brent. And your last name's Murray. What's your badge number?
S38.
Okay, perfect. So I was driving today on County Road 5, headed northbound towards KFC.
Okay.
Are you familiar with what the speed limit is on that road?
Approximately, yeah.
40-ish?
40.
45, roughly?
Yep.
Okay, so I don't know who the officer's name is.
Okay.
Badge number 148, driving vehicle 507.
Okay.
Well, first let's back up. What's your guys' company policy or department policy regarding speeding?
Regarding speeding? Well, obviously we have general guidelines that I can't specifically cite the
Correct,
policy.
but generally speaking, if you're on your way to an emergency, things like that, you're allowed to speed, right? With lights on and
Correct.
sirens don't have to be on, but lights do.
Well, it depends, right? So
Okay.
when we have a borderline, right? What is the call? We have to take all the information in and
Sure,
where
and
are
make a
we?
decision.
Where are we, and make a decision from there.
So if you're gonna go 20 miles over the speed limit, 20 miles an hour over the speed limit, we'd probably want to put our lights on, right?
20 miles per hour over the speed
Yeah.
limit? Yeah, I would
I mean,
think
that's a reasonable expectation, right?
I could see that, yep.
Okay. So 148 decided to do that, didn't want to put his lights on, did do a couple maneuvers through lanes and through traffic in order to get to KFC. I accelerated to 50 miles per hour and he was still flying past me. And he got up the hill. I saw him turn into KFC. And at that point in time, I asked him what he was doing. He said, I'm on a call right now. And I see a guy laying in the grass. He was sleeping or something on his lunch break. Officer checked on him. They had a quick conversation. Then when he walked back, I said, okay, can I have your business card now? And he said, I'm on a call. I don't want to deal with you. And said my badge number is 148. What's your policy on identifying yourself or giving a card when somebody asks for it?
Yeah, that's a good question. And generally, we do have to identify ourselves and a badge number or,
But if somebody asks you for a business card, what's your policy on that?
Yep, and I'd have to read the exact
Okay.
policy per se, what the verbiage is.
Okay. So I'm gonna do a FOIA request too then for your guys' department policy.
Okay.
So I've done a written complaint. And it sucks, man, because I was here not too long ago. And I don't remember what sergeant I talked to, but you guys did a great job. So this officer really disappointed me. What's that officer's name? Do you know?
His Officer Jacobs was responding
Jacobs.
to that medical.
Okay. So,
And I guess what was your hope and intent here? And that's,
Well,
that's what I'd love to work through you
sure,
on this
sure.
instead of, you know.
Well, I think we need some disciplinary action on this, right?
Okay.
So I think that it's reasonable that you guys can check and see what his speed was, because I'm pretty sure that your computers and stuff retain that information. Is that correct?
Most do, some, you know, obviously malfunction and everything on occasion,
Sure.
but the technology, but
Sure.
we'd have to check it.
And it's a brand new, it's like a 2020 Explorer. I'm guessing the technology's probably not crappy in there, and the stuff that you put in there is not crappy.
We would hope not, no.
Okay. So, what I'd like is disciplinary action. I'd like you to see what the speed he's going, and I'd like you to cite him for speeding.
Okay. Well, I can certainly pass on the information.
Sure.
Okay. This isn't something that I'm going to handle, I guess, right this moment, the way you're asking.
Sure,
it
sure.
to be
No, and
handled.
that makes sense. No, that's reasonable. Can I get a follow-up regarding this?
Well, of course, any complaint would get follow-up after the
Okay.
fact.
So if I give you my email address and phone number,
Yep.
where's the? Can I just write my email address
You
somewhere?
can, yeah, if there's a blank space, I'm not sure which form you've got right there.
I got the
Citizen contact report. Yep. So if there's not a, it's weird that there's not a specific place like witness or.
Yeah, there's witness name, complaint
I was-
received. I could put it.
Yeah, you could put it right there.
I could put it in address.
Because your name, address, or email address under the address.
Okay, yeah, I'll
If
do
you want-
that.
if
I'm
you
just
want
gonna
to
write email next to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
And if you need anything from me, you can contact me there. Ma'am, can you shred this for me now? Thank you so much. Yeah, if you need anything from me, let me know. And then I also have a video of his conduct that I can always email you as well. But honestly, the main part is the speeding. Obviously, the discussion that with him that, hey, when a citizen is concerned about the fact that you're maneuvering through traffic going 20 miles an hour plus over and you don't have your lights activated, you should probably just, say, yeah, I get it, that makes sense, and move about your day, because I wouldn't have come here and written a formal complaint, but it doesn't seem that he cares.
Well,
And at that point now, like if I were to run into you on the side of the road, right? And, I was speeding and you said, what's going on? I said, I'm running late for work. That kind of stuff. You say, okay, listen, depending on how fast I'm going, right? Like, you need to slow down. But then there's a certain point too where maybe I'm going 7, 8, 10 over and you're like right in that middle area, but I'm a complete jerk to you and I don't care. You're going to say, well, this guy doesn't care. He's obviously not learned his lesson. Just my presence here doesn't intimidate him enough to actually uphold the law, right? I'm going to give him a ticket. It's the same kind of thing with you guys. What citizens need to do is make sure that if you guys don't seem to, not you, but if an officer seems to not have the right attitude, then it needs to go into a written complaint so it stays on their file. You know what I mean?
I can hear where you're coming from and what your thoughts are and what your concerns are.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you for sure that this officer cares, right?
I hope so.
And so, and just describing, I wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But it did sound like, because the officer called me right after the call and was concerned, right, that somebody just suddenly appeared at their door when they're trying to handle a call, and that's distracting them from the incident, right?
Sure.
So
I'd have to know that he was on a call too, right? Because if he had lights on, I would have known he was on a call. But honestly, it looked like he was pulling the KFC. I didn't see the guy just laying there sleeping, taking a nap. I didn't know that that's what he was there for.
Correct.
And again, if he had lights on, I would know, oh, this gentleman's on the way to a call, right? But if he just pulls in fast, and I think, well, guy's going to KFC. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't seem normal to me.
I hear you. And I wasn't there, and there's obviously video on both sides
Yep.
of what transpired. So, how we handle those situations on both sides is important.
Yeah, I agree.
And stuff. So we obviously care for the public, and I think in this situation he was trying to get to somebody that needed, in his mind, and people that called 911 help.
Yep, I agree 100%. Just
So-
activate those lights
so
if we're going to break the speed limit. You know what I mean?
Okay. And again, you're saying here you were speeding as well to try and.
Sure. If you want to give me a ticket, I'll gladly take the
And
ticket.
I'm not asking to do that. Here's what my hope and intent
Yeah.
is. Work with you.
Mm-hmm.
Work with the officer. make sure that we're all professional, doing our jobs the right way to help the public. That's what my hope would be here working with you. So I'd love to hear your...
Well, when you say a comment, just hear me out here. When you say a comment like I accelerated and started speeding, that tells me that right away you're looking for something different. Now let me ask you this.
No, you wrote the...
Correct, 100%, and I will gladly take that ticket all day long.
Nope.
In fact, if you would like to cite me for it, I will sign it right now.
No, I'm not.
But when you bring something up like that, what it does is it discredits my complaint, right? You don't ever hear me saying to a police officer that's behind me,
So here's
let
what
me finish though. You don't ever hear me say to a police officer that's behind me, well, you were speeding too, right? So let's work this out, because that's not how that works.
No, so where I was going with my statement was to say that I was trying to figure out how you judged his miles per hour.
Okay.
Because you said he was going 20 over. So I didn't know if you had a device.
No, I wish I did.
If you were able to judge that and how. And so I was trying to say, okay, you've accelerated 50 miles an hour a little over the speed limit.
I was trying to pace him.
Is that how you were trying to?
Correct. I was trying to pace him.
Way that you were trying to
Nope,
determine
I was just trying to pace him.
So now you can see where I was at. I was trying to get to.
It just came off a little bit different than that, but okay. Then I apologize. I thought that's what you were trying to say.
No, I was just reading your exact words. I accelerated, so I was trying to figure out how exactly you knew or thought that he was going 20 over.
Yep.
Okay.
So I was trying to pace him. I couldn't, and I didn't feel comfortable going past that.
Okay.
So this is a rough estimate, but I believe it's enough to warrant you checking the system to see actually how fast he was going. And I do believe the speed limit is 40 miles an hour in that specific section.
In that specific section. Okay. Okay. Well, so I guess if there's nothing I can do here to just work anything out, then I will just pass this on.
Yep.
And we have your email address and what you go by. Rowdy.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
And then this goes in his file, correct?
So there's a state statute that governs how complaints are handled and what does and doesn't go into a file. And so that process would have to be followed.
Can you explain to me kind of what that process entails in general, not with just this, but in general?
So so there's different levels, right? There's crimes, there's policy
just
violations,
formal complaints.
there's whatever, right?
Okay.
Through those formal complaints. And so if it's found to be a sustained complaint for a crime versus a non-sustained complaint. So there's just different avenues on how it works.
Sure.
And then what the final disposition would be by our organization, and then what that would mean for in a file, not in a file. No matter what, it's documented.
Okay. But so who does the, I mean, I know you said you got to pass it up, so I'm curious who handles these types of things.
So it depends what the chief will want.
Okay. So it goes to the chief and he makes a decision as to who kind of addresses these.
And our chief is a she. But
Sorry.
she will make a decision on where it goes from there, who handles it, and any final dispositions are handled by the chief. Okay.
And does she email me, or does this person, whomever she chooses,
I'd love to say I could tell you that.
Not sure yet. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Well, I appreciate it. And your name is Sergeant Murray?
Yes, Brent.
Thank you. I'm gonna give you knuckles. I know because the whole COVID thing.
Stuff like that.
I love to shake hands, but
I know. I think it's more personal.
I do too. I hate the fact that we have to wear these masks and you can't see the face and blah blah blah. So what were you gonna ask me?
I was gonna ask you if you're a previous military.
I was. Yep.
You don't have to answer.
Yes, I was.
So I wanted to say thank you for your service.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And that's one of the reasons why. So I got a video coming out Wednesday that. So I'm a First Amendment activist or a First Amendment auditor, right? And I love the Constitution because number one, I fought for it. I had friends die for it. I know that you guys are a big proponent of the Constitution. But what I find is, as much as even my veteran friends have sworn to protect the Constitution, there's always kind of a level of like, well, I don't know if I would consider that, right? And to me, I think that all the problems that we're having as a society right now in this country, and I don't want to touch on the rest of it because that's a total shit can, but in this society, I think that all the problems that we talk about, whether it's with law enforcement, politicians, whatever it may be, the communicational piece, if you just incorporated the Constitution, you'd solve all the problems. I wish that other groups, and I'm not going to specify as to which ones, but I wish that other groups would actually think about that rather than trying to singular out certain things, because it says we the people. It doesn't specify anything else.
Correct.
Right. And if you just follow the Constitution, it doesn't matter what somebody else on the other side of the table believes, as long as they don't encroach on your constitutional rights.
Correct.
Right? That's all that matters.
Correct.
And so I think having these terms of these kind of conversations, this dialogue, and hey, yeah, okay, there's a problem. It doesn't mean we can't resolve it. Doesn't mean that 148 is a bad officer. It means that he made a mistake, right? And great, let's move on, but let's also show people there's a way to do things versus like doing other things, like burning buildings down or breaking windows or burning your own community down. Let's show how we can make that change and then bridge that gap with the community.
Yep, and I think communication is huge, right?
Yeah.
And I think that first, like you talked about the Constitution, and especially that we the people, right? We are all the people.
And that includes you, right?
Right? And it really follows along that golden rule. Let's treat everybody like you'd like to be treated, or actually even better, right? Treat others like even better than you'd like to be treated, because then we're all showing each other that same respect.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
But you're right. That Constitution was written for a reason for our U.S. to hopefully abide by and follow,
100%.
and
And I want law enforcement, honestly, because here's my thing. I have a lot of friends that are law enforcement, and they're great people. And I'm sure that you know a lot of people, besides just your department, but across the country that you've met or heard about or whatever, who do amazing things. And every once in a while you hear the bad stuff. The bad stuff's what gets the publicity, etc. But at least on my YouTube channel, what I try to do is post all the interactions and all the good stuff too. And I think that that's important because that we're all human, to include you guys. And some people just have a bad day. Some people have a bad call. Some people have a great day, whatever. Sometimes you run into that bad officer, and we got to expose those ones, because I know that the reality is nobody dislikes a bad cop more than you, right? So, and sometimes it's just a policy thing, Sometimes it's just maybe we need to change a policy. I know the complaint form, when did you guys put that up there?
It's actually, this form I believe is actually newer.
Do you know who requested that?
I apologize.
Me. So I came in town. I don't remember his name. Forgive me, but another great sergeant, right? I was here. I said, "Hey, do you guys have complaint forms?" And he says, "I don't know." And so this is one of the things that would make it easier. So I sent him an email and I said, it's just really important in this day and age to just have it available so somebody could take it home and think about it. And so I think it's great that you guys did it, because I asked her if you guys have a complaint form. She says, "Yep, here you go." And she pulled it right out. So I know that you guys as a department care.
We do.
This is evident in the fact that I could actually just grab a complaint form, write it all out, and hand it to you before you even got here.
Yep.
Rather than talking to you and saying, "Can I get one so I can make a formal complaint after we discuss everything?" It just makes everything easier. So it tells me that you guys actually really care about your community, about people being able to make a complaint, and to be able to write those things and make sure your relationship is good. So that's important to me. And so that's why I trust that you guys will do the right thing. And whatever that may be. I don't know what your policies are. I don't know any of that stuff. That's up to you guys and the higher ups. That's above my pay grade. I've done my job, and that's all I can do. Okay?
I can appreciate that. Like I said, I'll pass this on. And we do. We, as an agency, we try and make sure that we're a professional organization.
Yeah, and I think you are. And the proof is in the pudding, right? I mean, so I appreciate it. Take care, brother.
Right,
Be
take
safe,
care.
please.
Thank you, you too.